Greetings, Guardians. This is Olympus Alliance. And today I need everyone to pay very close attention, because the game just became more complicated, and a lot tougher, than it was before. The results you see now are not one team beats another team. The results depend on how each person has built their titans. Your artifacts, your skins, your overall power. All of that decides your outcome. So if you copy a lineup, but your build is different, your results will be different too. That's why this video is a heads up first. I want you to understand what we found in testing, what's reliable, what's risky, and what matters most before you spend a single resource.
Guardians, if you haven't explored Hero Wars Hub yet, now is the time. Log into your game, open the news section, and enter Hero Wars Hub, where you can collect daily activity rewards, guild bonuses, and manage your in-game purchases in one place. If you decide to make a purchase, you can use the Olympus Alliance code. You'll find it pinned in the comments and on screen. There are no discounts or extra benefits for you, but by using the code, you directly support our channel and help us continue bringing you guides, updates, and competitive breakdowns. There's never any pressure to spend, that's always your choice. Have fun, enjoy the journey.
Ran multiple rounds of tests and the first thing was very clear. Light defeats darkness consistently, but only if it has enough power. You're looking at a minimum threshold around 640 to 650,000 power. From that point forward, light starts to reliably beat darkness. Below that threshold, it becomes extremely risky. And most of the time, it becomes an almost guaranteed defeat. So here's the real message. Light is the only true counter to a properly built darkness team. If you want to fully overcome strong darkness, you must have a properly built light team. There's no shortcut around that. No half-built light team is going to save you. If your light team isn't constructed correctly, it will lose anyway. Even with the right titans, even with the right idea, it simply won't hold. Now let's talk about Earth, because this is where many players will get confused if they only look at one or two fights. In our initial tests, Earth actually looked strong. Against a maxed darkness team that was basically raw, no artifacts, no skins, no real investment, Earth was winning. And that's why some people will think, Earth counters darkness. But when we tested Earth into a fully maxed darkness team, Earth was losing. It wasn't embarrassing, it wasn't instant, it was competitive. But it wasn't dominant. Then we introduced mech skins, and the situation changed again. Without mech skins, everything became much more complicated. Earth struggled more. With mech skins, performance improved? But even then, it still wasn't enough to consistently overpower a fully optimized darkness team. So if you are an Earth player, here's the truth. Earth can win in certain conditions. Earth can punish weaker or incomplete darkness builds. But once darkness reaches the optimized stage, Earth falls off. Earth stops being your reliable answer. And then we moved into the second phase of testing, where things got even more important. We ran many tests across different build stages and we started adjusting darkness artifact levels upward. Not maxed, not insane, just mid-range development, roughly level 100 to 150 on artifacts. Earth continued to win against weaker darkness setups. But against stronger ones, the results became unstable. Most of the time, it was still a loss. Without mech skins, it lost. With lower power, it lost. There was no stability there. No consistent repeatable Earth wins scenario once darkness was properly developed. Now let's return to light, because light is where the answer becomes very clean, but only if you respect the power requirement. Against stronger darkness teams, light was still losing when it was underbuilt. And that's the detail I need you to lock into your brain. Light is the counter, but only when light is built correctly. If light isn't properly constructed, it will lose anyway. Even with mech skins, even with the correct idea, even with the correct element advantage. It still loses if the overall build is not strong enough. That's why this is not just a use light message. This is a build light properly or don't expect miracles message. So what's the sweet spot? What's the efficient point where you don't overspend, but you still get dominance? Based on everything we tested, the ideal balance for Umbra's team is very clear. You want the weapon artifact around level 100 to 120. The crown can sit around level 100 to 105 in the efficiency zone. But in our more serious optimized setups, pushing the crown a bit further begins to matter because it combines extra damage and extra defense against elemental teams, and in real fights that's huge. The seal can stay between 90 and 100. And this is important, there's no need to overspend beyond that if your goal is efficiency. We saw it clearly in tests, between 90 and 100 on the seal, Umbra becomes ultra faster. And that speed change matters more than people think, because it increases how often he uses Child of Darkness. More activations means more energy disruption, more energy transfer, more pressure, and more control over the tempo of the fight. But there is one rule that is non-negotiable. The skin must be maxed. If the skin is not maxed, performance drops and the results stop being consistent. The skin is what locks in the foundation of Umbra's impact. If you skip it or delay it too much, you'll feel like Umbra is inconsistent, when in reality the build is incomplete. Now, with everything said, let's move into the Umbra build, and I want this to be very simple and very actionable. First, max Umbra's skin. That is step 1. No debate. That's where the stability starts. Second, push the weapon artifact to around 110 to 120. This is the artifact that gives you the most reliable jump in performance early, and it supports the tempo you want from Umbra. When you start seeing Umbra's kit actually controlling fights, it's usually because your weapon is in that range and your skin is done. After that, you start thinking about Child of Darkness and why this build works. Child of Darkness is not just a skill. It is a mechanic that changes energy flow. It drains energy from enemies and transfers it to the allied Titan with the highest current energy. That means you are both slowing the enemy down and accelerating your best Titan at the same time. When Umbra activates more often, your whole Darkness team starts to feel like it is playing faster than it should. You will see abilities come online earlier. You will see enemy abilities delayed. And you will see fights flip, even when you don't look stronger on paper. Then we go to the crown. Push the crown to around 100 to 120 if you want the optimized version. The reason is simple, extra damage and extra defense against elemental teams is always valuable, and this is what helps Darkness hold into the messy fights where you're not just winning by tempo, but also by surviving long enough for your passive scaling to take over. Finally, the seal. Do not feel forced to max it. In the efficiency zone, 90 to 100 is enough to make Umbra noticeably faster, and that faster cycling is what matters. If you're trying to be smart with resources, this is where you stop. The seal is the tempo tool, not the dump every resource forever tool. And now here's the big strategic consequence of this build. With this setup, you are basically forcing only one team to truly beat you in defense, and that is light. But again, only a properly built light team. Earth will not dominate you anymore once your Darkness build is optimized. Earth becomes situational, unstable, and dependent on conditions. But if your goal is not defense, if your goal is simply to use Darkness for offense and you don't want to spend heavy resources, remember what we already proved, even a low-level Umbra makes a difference. Even when he is barely developed, the mechanics begin to change fights. And if you invest more, you get more. In that case, You can treat Umbra as a scaling weapon, start small, feel the impact, and build upward when you're ready. So Guardians, that's the message. Be careful with assumptions. Earth is not a stable answer into optimized darkness. Light is the counter, but only if it is built correctly. Umbra changes the tempo of the battlefield through energy control, and once you understand that, you stop looking at fights like element beats element and you start looking at fights like build beats build. We will keep testing. We will keep pushing different upgrade paths. We will confirm the best investment routes with more data and more matchups. And we will give you the clearest, most efficient way to build Umbra depending on whether you want offense, defense, or full dominance. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and as always, salute and friendship.